All right, let's dive right in. Today we're taking a close look at a very well-known property in Kuala Lumpur, Twins at Damansara Heights. Now, on paper, it looks like a slam dunk investment in a location everybody wants a piece of. But is that the whole story? You know, a prestigious address feels like a guarantee, doesn't it? But is it enough to actually make you money? That's the big question we're tackling. Is this a genuine blue-chip property that will build your wealth? Or is it something else? A value trap, hiding in plain sight? Let's find out.
So first things first, let's build the argument for buying this place. Because when you first look at it, it seems to tick all the boxes. It really does look like a perfect opportunity.
The appeal is obvious, right? We are talking about a prime freehold location. You can literally walk to the PBD MRT station. There's a built-in rental market of high-earning expats, and it's right next door to huge malls like Pavilion and DC Mall. That's a powerful mix of advantages that's pretty hard to argue with.
And let's just double-click on that word freehold. For anyone watching internationally, this is a really big deal. It means you don't just own the apartment, you own a piece of the land it sits on. Forever. There's no lease that runs out. In a packed, growing city, that kind of permanent ownership is incredibly valuable.
So who's actually living here? Well, the data shows it's a total magnet for single expats and local professionals. You know, the people working in all those big office buildings right there. They want convenience, and this place has it. And that creates this constant, strong demand for rentals, especially for the smaller, more efficient units.
Okay, so that's the dream. That's the sales pitch on paper. But now we've got to pivot and look at the reality on the ground, because the analysis uncovers some pretty serious risks that really start to poke holes in that perfect investment story.
And the first one, it's a major lifestyle killer. The official investment memo doesn't mince words. It calls the peak hour traffic severe and notorious. So we're not just talking about a minor delay. This is a huge, daily problem that definitely impacts how desirable the property is.
The next big issue is its age. It was finished back in 2010, which, in the fast-moving world of luxury condos, makes it Generation 1. It's not just that it's older. It's that it's now competing with brand-new buildings that are literally connected to the malls and the MRT. They offer a level of seamless convenience that a standalone building just can't match.
So here's the bottom line on that. There is a huge supply of newer, frankly better, options right next door. And all that competition, all that supply, puts immense downward pressure on both the rent and the resale price you can possibly get for a unit at Twins. So we have one story that says great location and another that says old and outdated. When you've got a conflict like that, what do? You follow the money. The hard data tells a much, much clearer story.
And here it is. This is the single number that should really grab every investor's attention. Over the past year, the capital growth for this property was actually negative. Prices didn't just stay flat, they went down slightly. That is not what you expect from a prime property. And if you look at its history, it has been an absolute roller coaster. Just look at this. It hit a massive high back in 2016, then fell off a cliff to a shocking low in 2021. Now, things have stabilized a bit, but that kind of insane volatility is a huge red flag for any serious investor.
This table gives us a picture of where things are right now. The average price is around $719 per square foot, putting a median unit at about 800,000 ringgit. But look at that rental yield. It's estimated at around 5.1%, which is actually pretty healthy. And that brings us to the core dilemma of this whole investment.
This chart says it all, really. On one hand, you have this tall, healthy bar representing rental income. That's the good news. But then you look over at the capital growth bar, and it's tiny. It's barely even there, and it's negative. So what does this mean? You get cash flow every month, but the actual asset you own isn't growing in value at all.
So after weighing the pros, the cons, and looking at the hard data, it's time to make the call. We have to come back to that first question we asked. What is this thing, really?
To give our verdict, we have to understand this critical concept, a value trap. It's an investment that looks really good on the surface. Maybe it seems cheap or has a great rental yield, but it's stuck. It's held back by these fundamental problems that stop its price from ever really going up.
And that is precisely the analyst's conclusion here. The judgment is completely unambiguous. This property should be seen as a high-risk, cash flow asset. It's something you buy to generate monthly income, not something you buy to build long-term wealth through appreciation.
So if it's a value trap, does that mean nobody should ever buy it? Well, not necessarily. The analysis actually provides a very specific roadmap for how it could work.
1. You have to buy it smart, well below that 700 per square foot mark. 2. You target the right units, those smaller ones that are always in demand. And 3. This is the most important. You have to manage your expectations. You go in knowing you're buying it for that 5 to 5.5% rental yield, and you expect pretty much zero capital growth.
And that leaves us with the final big question for you to think about. For your own investment strategy, does that trade-off make sense? Is getting a steady rental check every single month worth owning an asset that might not be worth a penny more in 5 or 10 years? That is the crucial question this whole analysis boils down to.